We are live! Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Show Must Go On line. Today's guest is Tahara Anderson, aka T. How are you doing today?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I am swell. Thank you so much. It's
Wonderful.
so nice to see your wonderful smile, your face
Aw,
looking back at me right now.
you're so kind. Likewise, and I love the flowers.
Thank you. Yes. We should say that anyone who used to see my old videos, and I mean like college videos and just out of college videos, I used to wear like a little flower, kind of similar to this, if you can see it.
Hmm.
And I used to wear it all the time, and then I went into broadcast journalism and news, and they were like, if you're gonna like be a news reporter, maybe you shouldn't have a flower in your hair. And now that I have my own website and YouTube series and now podcast, I'm like, I'm gonna put the flowers back. So I wanted to say that on International Women's Day and Women's Equality Day, I'm being my true Shoshana Rose self.
There you go. Beautiful.
Thank you. And I'm gonna de-glasses a little bit. So tell me, let's see. I think it should be good. There's a little bit of the ring light. So, and I want to say hey to James Barnaker, aka Red Hood. Yo, I'm here in support of all parties. # squad goals. Thank you so much. How So you know what? I feel like let's just like dive right in. What's your origin story? Where are you from? And how did you get involved in the Freestyle Love Supreme Academy?
Let's see. Okay. I grew up on Long Island. I lived all around New York, from upstate to Queens, and somehow wound up back on Long Island. I never thought I would, but here I am. And I went to school in Syracuse for illustration, and I love upstate because I have family up there, and they introduced me to Wegmans. Shout out Wegmans. And and let's see, I first saw Freestyle Love Supreme because of Hamilton. I hadn't seen Hamilton, but I saw Freestyle Love Supreme. I think it was September of 2016.
Mm-hmm.
They might have been at the Gramercy, and it was like amazingly fun. And I feel like I just had my mouth open like the whole time. And I still feel that way, like when they had the Broadway run, and when I'm in the recesses that we do, just, I'm still like, I forget I'm part of the class and I'm just watching everybody else, or I have this goofy smile because I'm just like amazed. So anytime I hear like Lou or ES, or the other day Hannah was on Freestyle Mondays, and I was just like, like, how do they do that? But yeah, so that's how I found Freestyle Love Supreme and just never turned back.
Excellent. And you do that too. It's like I get into that feeling as well, where I'm like just watching someone freestyle or beatbox or sing, and I'm like, that is amazing, and I'm gonna watch and support. And then they're like, oh, it's your turn, Cho, and I'm like, oh, right.
Right. Exactly.
I need to do something now.
But participation, not just viewing.
But isn't that's kind of the beauty of Freestyle Love Supreme Academy, and really like why I wanted you on the series, is that you, every time I see you in Rap Recess, like you're always such a team player, and you're always like hyping up other people, and that is like the beauty of the Academy.
It absolutely is. Like, I'm a creative person by nature, and when I had my when I was in my illustration courses and then subsequent jobs, the art department, there's this creative collaboration that like they kind of cheer you on and give you, feedback, but in this positive way. And I hadn't experienced that in a long time. And then I did the academy, and I was like, I remember this feeling, like, these people are here to help me, and hopefully I can encourage them, because it's, really amazing. And it's funny, I've been in other online meetings for work or something, and I'll be like, oh, I should be snapping.
You're doing the whole thing, and they're like,
what are you doing?
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah. That is so funny, and such a good point that, like, it's almost like the Academy and Freestyle Love Supreme in general, like, kind of merges with other parts of your life without you even thinking about it. And once you have those skills, I feel like sometimes on the series, I'm just like a walking advertisement for the Academy, because it really does such a wonderful job of, improving your confidence and your ability to improvise. And, like, even if you get something wrong, or if you mess up in a freestyle, or you maybe do something that you didn't want, like, in your brain you had, like, this finish that you were going to finish strong, but then you, like, these other words came out, and you just learn that, like, there is value in the imperfection, and there's value in not having to get it so perfect that you can't even start.
Exactly. Yeah. And value in letting your brain, like, take a break and just channeling that other part of you that's not planning out every, thing beforehand. So at first that was super challenging, but in the best way, in the absolute best way.
Yeah. So do you ever just, like, break out into freestyle?
Absolutely. Around my house, I have 2 boys, and sometimes they're, a little crazy, and I'll need them to do something. So I'll freestyle to them. And my younger one, especially, he engages, and I think it's really funny. He runs around going, boots, cuts, but he's yelling it like it's some kind of, I don't know, like, cry at a football game or something, just those words. And then other times when they don't do what I want, then I might, like, walk away from freestyling, like, how irritating it is, or something like that. But yeah, when I can. And then sometimes I'll use that FLS app that Zach came up with, and go back to foundations and try the words.
Nice. You now have painted this picture in my brain of, like, at a stadium, and half of them go boots and the other one cuts. It just goes back and forth, and you got, like, the red side versus the blue side, or pink versus turquoise, and
That's incredible.
I can hear it, and it echoes. So
I would
fun.
love that. Crowd participation, boots and guts.
Yeah. Exactly. But it's so fun to hear that you, like, engage with your family with it. And even, like, because on Sundays, or if you take part in, like, the Wednesdays rap recesses, it's like just for the Academy, right? So it's like this cool opportunity to kind of put, like, the other parts of your life, like, to take a break from that, and then just, like, be zoned in. Like, I always put my phone in the other room, so I'm just, like, very focused. But then you can use that, and just, like, sometimes you just like to freestyle here. You don't know what you're gonna hear just going off the dome. It's like a flow, because what do you know? It's bwaySHO.
Exactly. Sometimes I'll be like, when you check in, I'll be like, I'm doing okay. Oh, here comes my kid. I don't know what he did, but he's asking me to put up the slip and slide, and I'm like, let it ride. This is my time, or something like that. Like, they frequently come into my freestyle, because sometimes my attention is diverted, and then that's what's in my mind, and it just comes out. And that also helps, instead of me being like, go away, I told you this is rap recess. But my older one has done the teen sessions. He's not a teen but he's almost there.
Yeah.
And even if he's having a really hard day, he he comes out of it with this big smile on his face, and that's incredible. I took him to see a show pre-Broadway, and they had him up on stage for the day in the life, and it was the timing. I thought there was something like crazy going on in the universe because he was having a very tough time before,
Oh.
and that just like it was a miracle that happened. And then maybe a month or so later, Anthony was on the Hamilcast talking about it,
Mhm.
and they brought him up. I might have sent in a question, I think, and they
Yeah.
brought him up, and I had him in the car with me, and it was another tough
Um,
time for him. And I was like, let's just listen to this. And they talked about him, and again, like the universe sent it when this kid needed it.
yeah.
So
Mm. Yeah, I remember hearing about that, and it's like having that experience on that stage is so meaningful, and especially if you are going through some ups and downs, as I'm
mhm.
sure a lot of people are, especially right now. It's having that like little boost, and like Anthony, aka Two Touch, thank you so much. He does such a great job of making you feel like the most important person in the room. When he's talking to you, he's looking you in the eyes, he's making sure he knows your name, your pronouns, kind of how you're feeling, so how to engage your comfort level in like all the different aspects. And that's a really good way to kind of go about life is, well, what is this person's comfort level? I feel like a lot of times, maybe up until like this year, it was kind of like, oh, hug people when you greet them, or high five, or shake hands, or fist pump, whatever it is. But especially like going through the academy, I've realized, well, some people don't want that. That makes them uncomfortable. You should check.
Mhm.
It's not like as much of a given, I guess you could say,
Yeah,
as maybe society has made us think.
yeah, like everybody has their own boundaries, and respecting each other's boundaries. Just you can't just assume what you're good with, the other person is, or vice versa. And the academy is pretty. It was pretty amazing. Like I would go on Mondays, and it was like I loved Mondays for 2 whole months. It was incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. So now, how have you found balancing being a mom, this pandemic, everyone's at home, but then also you've got your rap recess on Sunday, and trying to also like keep your mental health up?
Um, well, definitely rap recess helps with that. Or I worked at home already before the pandemic, so I'm a graphic designer, so I freelance, so I was able to do that. You know, my kids were at school or at night or on weekends, and it was a little more challenging because I was now sharing a computer with a 9-year-old, and he had meetings, and
Oh yeah.
I felt like like Mr. Anderson, your 10 o'clock Horizons classes now, and he'd be like, "Let's make cookies first." What is this? But just focus, having to guide them through remote learning was enough of a distraction. There was a time when, for several months, when this first happened, um, where I would wake up in the middle of the night because my dog is a senior dog. She's a senior lady. She just turned 16 on Monday. She would have to get up and go out, and she can't navigate stairs. And I would wake up at like 3 a.m. and carry her downstairs and let her out. And it was that feeling when you'd wake up and you'd be like, I'm supposed to be thinking about something. Oh yeah, COVID. Oh, that's still like ever present in my mind and everybody's minds. And um, but then the tasks of the day, whether it be work, whether it be my kids, you know, trying to engage with them and trying to keep up my morale, or, you know, also doing that because I was told I'm not the best teacher. And I agree with that. I had a very like, let's get it done mentality. Um, but you know, that got me through the like beginning of it, and
Yeah.
just engaging with people such as yourself and the whole alumni group was amazing, you know, still
Yeah.
is. I love it.
Yeah, totally agree that it's kind of like you were saying when they ask at the beginning, "How are you?" and you go in with your full self, right? Like today I'm
Mm.
feeling kind of anxious, or today I'm feeling great, or I'm feeling like I was a little hesitant, but I wanted to come today. Like all of those emotions are. It's nice to be able to go to a place kind of where you're at and not have to pretend like, oh yeah, I'm great right now. Like no, if you're
Mhm.
anxious, like it's okay that you're anxious, and that's really helped, I think. Yeah, especially for me, to be able to know that there is this space that it's okay to just like be where you're at that day and not have to like pretend to be anything. And I couldn't even imagine. I know it, like you were saying with teaching and that all these other parents that are trying to work and teach, and like everyone's in this position that no one could have ever expected.
Yeah, I remember seeing my 9-year-old's teacher. She sent out a video, and at the end, her little one like grabbed her face and turned like, "Mom, pay attention to me." And I was like, "Oh my goodness, these teachers, you know, like trying to teach my kid while they have their own kids or their own health concerns, or you know, their own families or whatever
Mm,
going on, you know." So I didn't want to have a mentality of the schools didn't do this and during that period, because I wouldn't know what to do. How do you honestly prepare for something like that? Or something like we're living through, you know, this now is a little different because the summer is almost done and they've had time. So we'll see how it goes. But also, shout out to Ross. I don't know if he's watching, but he was in my class and he's a teacher and a magician.
yes.
And he'll be going back, and he had mentioned that. So
Yeah.
thinking of all the teachers that, you know, have to go back to teach our children.
Right. Yeah, that's such a good point. And Ross is someone that I've only met through this virtual rap recess, which is really cool that as we're all like distanced from one another, I'm actually like meeting more people, and like Dr. Polly, like they live in uh Pennsylvania, and I wouldn't have met them if not for this. So it's just really cool that like we're getting to meet a larger community by everyone being at home. But it is crazy to think, and Ross and I were talking about this during rap recess. It's just like that school is starting up already in some places and will be starting back up in New York, and it's like we're still in a pandemic. How
Yeah.
how are the kids supposed to? I don't know. I don't have kids, and I'm not a teacher, and I'm not a mental health or a health professional in any regard, so I don't pretend to have any of the answers, but it just seems like this isn't going to work.
Yeah, I kind of like, I'm like, okay, we'll see. The plan sounds good. I think at some point, you know, my kids will be remote learning again, and we'll be figuring out again how to juggle work and, you know, um, share things, and probably make more cookies. But it is what it is. We don't have the experience of this happening before. We're like, remember we did that? And
Yeah. Mm,
yeah.
that I So there are they going? Is it all in person when it starts back up again?
Oh, okay. My older one's in middle school, so he'll do what they call a hybrid. They're using the word cohort. So he's in one cohort, and he'll go Monday, Tuesday, alternate Wednesdays, and be at home Thursday, Friday, and my younger one's in elementary, so he'll be there all days. And there are people who have chosen to remote learn, and they'll make arrangements for that. And I can't control it. My dad always says, "Don't worry about what you can't control." So I've been trying to just keep that in mind throughout this whole thing. There's only so much that you can do, that you can control, so.
Like in Hamilton, I am the one thing in life I can
I can
control.
control.
Troll. Yeah, and Hamilton is, with the film being on Disney Plus and so many things, I feel like there are so many relatable quotes from Hamilton that are going on right now and that are really like always circling in my head, but it feels especially poignant now. So how many is Hamilton like a big thing in your life still?
Yeah, I still, can quote you like so much of it. I guess I was in the car the other day and my older one was like, "Mommy, remember that summer where all you listened to was Hamilton?" And at that point, there was work being done on our house, and the contractors kind of messed up at one point, so we had to stay somewhere else while they fixed that. And so I felt like I was in this Hamilton bubble because we were in a different neighborhood and I didn't know anyone, and I just loved it. And like I was, just fully immersed in the ability of the cast and the brain work. That's why I think Freestyle Love Supreme just really checks off everything, because I'm just like the amount of intelligence. I'm just blown away by it. Blew me away.
Blow us all away.
Exactly. Cue that. Exactly. So yeah, I still love it.
Yeah. So have you sat down and had like a movie night and watched it on Disney Plus?
By then my family, they were kind of over some of it, and because it was at home, they like came in and out, they humored me. I watched the whole thing. They were engaged at like different points, and but they still like would come in at the important parts. And my younger one, he well, the whole thing's important. He and I will have like dialogues. I guess apparently if he's being a certain way, I'll be like, "Excuse me," and then he says it to me, and it sounds like is it Hamilton that says it, like, "Excuse me," when Burr is telling him that he's running for, is it Senate? Oh, his father-in-law seat. Yeah, like
yeah.
Yeah.
In the B. Why do they always love the? I'm sorry, my dog's right here, and usually he'll like try to eat it, and I'm like, "You're gonna get an ouchie. You're gonna get a bee sting." But luckily, he's laying down right now, so he's adorable. Not. He is. Oh, I love Slim so adorable. Much.
Very photogenic,
isn't he? Mm-hmm. And today's International Dog Day, so
I heard that.
It might be hard to put this back up, but I feel like it's worth showing you if I can. Like,
aw,
he's just chilling. It's like a oh dear, this is gonna take a second. Yeah, look at that webcam. And I also noticed, okay, so we were talking before off camera about the audio, and it does seem like there's still sometimes a little crackle. I wonder if you just take off the headphones at all. Let's see if that'll work. Let's try one. Let's see.
Turn it up.
Sometimes
Can
it
you hear
takes
me
us.
now?
I can hear you. It is coming a little in and out.
Okay.
Say a Hamilton line for me.
How does a bastard orphan? I just blanked. Unbelievable. Put me on the spot.
I did. I put you on this. So I think let's try that, and then if it's not as strong, we'll put it back on the headphones. But I like to try new things, and I've also realized that we're in a pandemic, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And if you're trying things out, it's a live interview. It's like it's fine. Whereas at the beginning of the pandemic, I was like, it needs to be perfect.
Thank you for your kindness.
Yes, this is great. So, okay, I'm looking through. I want to talk about the artwork that you sent me with the Elijah McClain, and it was so powerful. And when I first looked at it, I was like, wow, who did this? And then I realized, like, oh, T did this. And I messaged you, and you're like, yeah, that's one of mine. So, can you talk about the process of that artwork and kind of everything about it?
Sure. And okay, when everything happened with George Floyd, like most people, it hit my heart. And you know, we're in this like amazing movement. This is not a moment; it's a movement. That's for you, Shem. And being an artist or a visual person, I'm always inclined like, how do I represent? Can I represent anything? Can I do anything? I came to realizations like it's my place to listen. It's my place to support, and it's my place to learn. That's what I'm going to do right now, and have conversations with my children, you know, and we've had conversations about race relations before, and just how you treat people, because they are people, and that's all, you know, that's all there is. They are people. And no matter what like friends might do, or like growing up as kids now, just overall everything is completely different than when I grew up. And and especially with my older one, we've had many conversations. And then as time went on, and not much time, but when I learned about Elijah McClain, and I saw the face of this boy that represented so many young Black men to me, and women, and trans folks, just I heard this music, like this violin, because most of the pictures were pictured him with his violin. And I had this idea of him playing the violin, and the song were a small portion of names of Black individuals who have lost their lives, whether due to police violence or just pure out racism, even if the police weren't involved, you know. Just that's what I heard, and that's what I pictured. And I pictured him honoring them, and I wanted to honor him and honor them. And whether I put the picture on Instagram, and I wanted people to see it and feel the emotion of what I heard. And I'm still having conversations with my kids, and I'm still doing what I can as an ally, and I'm still also honestly searching for that way as an artist, how I can help. And I hope this is okay. It's kind of like a pitch, but it's not
Please.
really for me. I the overriding thought I had watching the protesters and watching them be attacked and learning about the families of those people who have died and supporting Black Lives Matter. I just kept thinking, like, you know, love one another, love one another. And I didn't come up with that, but that's what I honestly feel in my heart. And so I made these simple like stickers as just reminders, and I put them on an Etsy shop, and I said 100% of the proceeds of the sale of these stickers will go to colorofchange.org, which promotes fighting against racial injustice and promotes challenging those in power to just treat Black individuals with humanity and, you know, start making steps to really make things equal. And I support them. I'm not affiliated with them, but I 100% support what they do. And this is a way I can use, like a very small way, I could use what I can do, you know, to make a small impact. So
Wow.
that's one of my Etsy shops. And the Elijah McClain piece was born out of that, like really true emotion. And I felt it when I was drawing him, because often drawing a human figure can be challenging, especially hands. A lot of artists have issues drawing hands. And for me, they all come out like, you know, it takes me several times, but it just kind of flowed. And it honestly, you know, and I think there's a reason for that. Like it was meant to be. So
Wow.
that was
wow. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And it's it is such a powerful piece, and artwork can tell so much more than sometimes the words we can actually say. You get a feeling when you see something. And when I saw that image, which is part of the cover photo, for anyone watching this or listening later, you can check out the cover photo. It's on the YouTube channel here, because it's it really is so powerful. Like seeing all the names and the artwork and the musician aspect of it, like I felt it. I felt it. I could hear it. Yeah, it's really, really powerful.
I'm glad that you can feel it. And if anything, like it's like another, I'm a visual person, you know, and I am, images trigger thoughts for me. And I want people to see that and think and not forget, you know, don't forget these people, kind of like a visual, say their names, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And especially, you know, it's important to flat out say sometimes Black Lives Matter, Black trans lives matter.
100%. Yeah.
It's still crazy that is a controversial statement, because they are you know, humans, they are equal, they are all of these things. And the fact that in 2020 this is still an issue just makes me try to think, how else can we change? How can we do better? How can we be better allies? How can we be better friends? How can we be better in general? And Color of Change is that's great. So what, can you let us know what the Etsy shop is so we know where to go?
Oh, sure. So this Etsy shop is called Love One Another 1376. So Love One Another 1376. Yeah. And right now I just have the stickers, and I thought, like, as I said, reminders serve me well. Like someone buys a sticker and they put it on their cup, or they put it on their wall or their laptop, and they see it, and it's like a gentle reminder where, you know, that's what we're supposed to, that's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
And the money you spent on the sticker will go to colorchange.org. So
That's
you know, it was an idea.
excellent. No, thank you. Thank you so much for that. I'll definitely be checking that out. And I'm gonna, yes, all of the love and the hearts. I'm trying to see. I want Slim is so cute, and it might be a little overexposed. But yes, I'm gonna move here so that you can see him better. Because people really, you know, they come to see Slim, and that's cool. I would too.
I would too. I'm here to Slim. You and your flowers just.
Yeah, I'm not here for you. Okay,
I wondered, did he move? My dog cannot hear anything at all, and I forget, like, dogs can hear you. So I wondered if he moved, like, you know, from the noise or just the comfort.
Actually. Oh, it's the comfort. He loves that couch spot, and usually I'll sit right next to him, and he'll put his like paws and his head on my lap, and it's like the cutest thing ever, and I love him so much. He is so great. I feel like I can just talk about Slim all day and be very happy.
Dogs are beautiful.
Yeah, and you know, they're especially now during the pandemic, having a dog or a cat or a hamster or, you know, any animal, at least for me, and I've heard from other people as well, has been so helpful and relaxing and healing. And what you were saying before about like having to take them out and make sure they're fed and having some sort of a routine that like, well, they still have to go pee. So you still have to wake up and even if you're not feeling great that day, you know that it's, you know, like this morning, I was up really late working on the podcast, and Slim had to wake up early and go pee, and I'm like, well, time, that's what you got to do.
Exactly. They don't know. Although I did wonder what she thought about us being home so much and what the other pets actually think. Like what are you doing here?
This is my space. You're supposed to be gone. Yeah.
Aww.
And then on the flip of that, I wonder when we do start going back in person places, you know, I feel like Slim is going to be so confused. Even when I go like grocery shopping or, you know, grabbing dinner from the pizza place and bringing it home, Slim will kind of like sit at the edge of the driveway and like right inside the gate, and he'll just look at us like, you're leaving? It's like, well, we'll be right back. Don't worry. Like, we usually spend all day together every day. So why are you leaving? And I think like, I just, it must be a very confusing time to go from like only seeing humans for part of the day to all of the day. And then it's going to go back to part of the day. And it's just like, I want to know what they're thinking.
Yeah, that actually, when we had to submit challenges for the academy, that was something I said, like, what's your pet thinking?
That's such a good one. We should do that.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. If anyone from FLSA is listening, hello. Out into the ether, hello. So we were talking about that I was working on the podcast, and I just want to like shout out Kyle Braxton, aka Gedden. Snaps so much for Kyle because he is a magician with beats, and for anyone who's listened to at least the intro part, it's so cool. He was inspired. We like went back and forth with some of my favorite musicals and sounds, and he took that part and then like remixed it. So did you get a chance to listen to that?
I did. I listened to it a few times because there was something like new each time that, you know, I was catching, and I was like, that's Kyle. Like it was amazing. And just like, it was kind of like a slant beat, and I'm like, I know that and this, and I caught the Jelani saying the show must Go On, and I was like, oh, I love all of this. And Kyle's YouTube video conversation
Oh,
that
yeah.
really impacted me, and everybody should check it out. Is it Getting Projects? But
Hmm.
that his YouTube video, it doesn't surprise me at all that he he made something so wonderful for you. So, and I love the show character too. She's
The
adorable.
illustration.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love that.
I love that as well. Chelsea Hill, you can find her at Illustrating Diva Magician as well.
Yeah, it's so vibrant, which is what you are, you know. So she nailed it. Good job.
Well, thank you so much. And I was actually thinking of you when you said that you're an illustrator. I was like, oh, she probably appreciates a good illustration.
Yeah, I try, and that was good. So yeah, absolutely.
I am very grateful for everyone who has had a part to bwaySHO the podcast, because it kind of it started as just this idea. I was thinking before even the pandemic, well, like I have my YouTube channel, but would people prefer a podcast? But then, usually I do interviews that are for YouTube, and is it weird to then like have the same thing in two different places? And then it just like the overwhelming consensus was they're good for two different things, right? So if you want to see the faces and Slim walking in, or all those things, you can see it here on bwaySHO YouTube. But it's a lot easier to listen to a podcast because you can just download that and listen to it while you walk the dog or do the dishes or go for a drive or go for a run. And so that was kind of it was fun to get that feedback, to hear like, oh no, even though you're doing this, it's still good to have that. And this is it's fun that today it's live.
Yeah, drop day. That is exciting.
It is crazy. It's forever. Thank you. Mr. Joe Iconis and Lauren Marcus. It felt appropriate because they were the first two I interviewed for the Show Must Go Online. And also the Be More Chill opening night party and like interviews. That was my first Broadway opening night that I covered. And then I covered the Broadway Bounty Hunter. It just was like, it's cool when you were even saying earlier, like sometimes the universe just sends you this like idea or this like flow, and the flow is that there's so many things that Joe Iconis and family have like given to me, and so it felt appropriate that like this would be the way to launch the podcast.
Oh, perfect.
So exciting, and I'm happy to be chatting about it with you.
Yeah, thank you. That's super exciting. It's super exciting when you have something that you worked for and you put it out there, and like, here it is.
Hope that I make y'all proud.
I know you will.
Thank you. So we spoke a little bit about a nonprofit that you give the money to. Is there any other charity or someone that you'd want to give a shout out to? I always like to give this opportunity, or any organization that maybe has inspired you.
Well, definitely Color of Change. That's where I've been focusing a lot on these days. And I used to volunteer before the pandemic for an organization called Literacy Nassau, and it's Nassau County, Long Island having Suffolk and Nassau County. But there are other, I'm sure, like-minded organizations around the country. This organization focused on helping people whose English wasn't their first language just learn English, like practice, conversations, learn some grammar. Certain situations, a lot of the people I volunteered with were parents themselves, and talking to a teacher or like the dentist or anybody what to do in those situations. Sometimes you'd get these like very dated models and you'd
Mm.
update them. So I would encourage people to find what like speaks to their heart,
Mhm.
and see how you can help, whether it's volunteering or a donation. And that that kind of, when I started, it just spoke to my heart, because it's not easy to ask for help, and these individuals were like seeking help, like they want to live here, whether they have family here or not. Like I said, a lot of them have kids in school, and so English is not an easy language to learn. There are all these rules, which a lot of them I was relearning, as, oh, I forgot we do that, or I forgot we do that. So a literacy program in your area. Yeah.
That is amazing. And I've said it before on the series, and I will say it forevermore. Immigrants, people who are first generation, second generation, they've worked so hard. Their journeys should be celebrated and admired. And
Absolutely, yeah.
my mom's from Brazil. She came when she
Mhm.
was a baby, and it's why do we look down upon people who have worked so hard, given up so much, learned a second, third, fourth, fifth language? Like,
Mhm.
why are people hating on others because they don't speak English well enough? I've seen it, especially on Twitter and social media, a lot of this hatred, and it's so ridiculous that, like, do you know another language? Are you, whatever it might be? It's just, and a lot of times, um, immigrants might be taking jobs that you don't even want. So why are you? I feel like this is a whole other thing, but just
Yeah.
like the line "immigrants, we get the job done." It
Mhm.
always gets so much applause and hype, and I resonate so much with it because we wouldn't be here without the hard work of immigrants. We would not be anywhere
Yeah.
it's just sometimes it's hard to formulate the words to express how I feel, but I want to show my appreciation for all the hardworking humans that have made who have just endured a lot of hardships and not only aren't appreciated but are looked down upon, and I want to just tell you that I appreciate you.
I wholeheartedly agree, and I don't get it. Like, you could really go to a horrible place looking online at the videos of people yelling at other people because they're not speaking English, or they're not a certain way, and I don't get it. Like, life it's hard. Aren't we all just trying to live our lives? And how dare you try to make that person's journey or life harder, like,
Right.
real honestly. So,
Hmm.
and yeah, I agree with you
Yeah.
wholeheartedly.
It's making me think of, so before I moved to New York and I started bwaySHO, I was an on-air reporter in West Texas, and
Mhm.
talk about some immigration issues and
Mm.
conversations with being on the border with Mexico. And I did a story where I was at the border town, and it just was, so many people on the actual border, like they go back and forth country to country, like that. I feel like there's so much, if you've never been there, which so many people, why would you have, or whatnot, but the people who live in the border towns are usually friends or have family on either side of the border. Like, when you close the border, it just create so many problems, and they're losing the humanity side of, you know, these are people, a lot of people work in, you know, they might live in Mexico and work in the US or vice versa, or it's just, there are so many things that experience opened up my eyes to. And I guess besides from just sharing that story, it's being a Jewish girl from New York working in West Texas. I learned so much, and I welcome the idea of putting yourselves in sometimes uncomfortable situations so that you can understand other people's point of view better. And I think that would just help us as humans if we did that more.
Yes, yes. I as you were saying that, like, I couldn't help but think of United Shades with W. Kamau Bell and his show, and how he opens your eyes to different people and different experiences, and trying to just educate us all. And I also, like I've learned in my own life, I'm a very liberal-minded person, and I, you know, grew up in downstate New York, and I'm learning not everyone around me is very liberal-minded, and it's also something to remember. Not everybody thinks the way, you know, I do or you do, and that's where conversations need to be had, and not just, you know, spew hate, but try to educate, and also try to, you know, keep open ears. And again, makes me think of Kyle's video. So
Yeah. And y'all, if you haven't seen that video, go to Get In Projects and check out that conversation. It's so well done. It's so poignant. It's really well crafted. It's well executed. Like every aspect, it's well produced. And he was my one of the teachers for FLS Academy. So that's how we got to know each other. And it's, you know, I feel very lucky that him and Nate were kind of at the helm teaching, because I got so many great experiences and insights. And I don't know, it's just like, it's so cool to see how their minds work, and the way that Kyle like mixes these beats, like how?
truly, how? That's, yeah, how?
So brilliant, so brilliant. So many people in this community are just like artists and BS, and Dr. Polly with their new game show. It's so much fun.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I tried it out, and and it was so much fun and so challenging. And BS and Dr. Polly, they did an incredible job, and I can't wait to see. I think it's September 5th, the second episode with Anissa defending, and Lou. Like the other day, I did BS's Rappy Hour, and it was already BS and D and Kyle, and like in comes Lou, and again, I was instantly a spectator, like at the best show ever, you know, just the way his mind is so quick and so sharp. And I felt like I was like almost watching Jeopardy, where I'm like, I'm getting the answers. I'm like, I could be on this show, you know? And then it's like, oh, but you got to buzz in and you got to remember that. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm not there. Like, so I don't know.
It is crazy. And like they've been doing it for a while, which is also good to keep in mind that this is like a skill that they have been practicing, and going to these ciphers and creating their own ciphers, which just is, it's good to think about, because sometimes we're so hard on ourselves, like, why can't we do that? But also sometimes it's not like, why can't I do this? It's like, they can do that. And that's what's amazing. And it's good to kind of flip that script in your head.
And the Academy is such like a celebration of that, you know. It's not like a competition. It's just like a celebration. And everyone should sign up if you have the ability, you know, online or when it goes back live. It'll it'll change your life. It'll bring some amazing people into your life. So even if you don't walk out like beatbox champion or whatever, your
Yeah.
life will be changed for the better for the
Yeah.
people you meet, honestly.
So well said. And you don't need to go in with any level of expertise, or if you are at a higher level, that's also great. Like you can really
Mm.
come as you are. If you're kind of like starting out and like you want to be able to, or you're a little shy, cool, join us. If you've been doing this for years, cool. If you are, you know, like Kayla Milady and just this like ridiculous beatboxer who can like sing and beatbox at the same time, you're incredible. Come. I am always blown away.
Yes,
Like
yes.
when Kayla and Mark were on the series and they were just like beatboxing and singing and rapping at the same time. I'm like, I can barely do one of those at once. It's like true talents.
Yeah.
And did you watch the FLS documentary?
Yes, I watched that. I love seeing the story. I did like I get emotional at times, you know. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
And it was totally amazing. And I was like proud having nothing to do with anything, you know. I'm just like a ticket holder. But like it was so nice to just to see people that found this and have touched so many other people, you know. And I think it was I was in a class with Tarek, and he said we're going to change the world, or something like that. Forgive me if I'm not quoting him correctly, but I'm like, yes, like if this energy from this group, this show, the academy, if there was more of that, you know, out there, it would really change the world.
Mm, well said. And I love Tarek Davis. He is quite the talent and so kind. And it is so cool to think that they had the foresight to film like this origin story of Freestyle Love Supreme, and just look at where you are, look at where you started, and how many more people have joined them out on stage. And I was at his first show on Broadway, which was so cool. And it's just like, it's so cool to think that like they were such babies when they started and they were
Yeah,
at the,
really, yeah,
right?
yeah, really, babies, yeah.
It's funny because they're probably like my age or like, you know, a few years younger, but it's funny because they're so successful.
Yeah, they're just incredible, incredible minds, yeah.
And Bill.
And Bill, yeah.
That was, they're so talented and so much
Oh,
fun. And
yeah,
just like
UTK, oh my goodness, like,
UTK, his brain, it's so
yeah,
fast. And the way he flips phrases and words, and it is so cool if you ever watch him like do the True, which is I love True.
mm,
Such a
yeah,
great.
True might be my favorite, you know,
Mhm.
yeah.
Because you really get like a new experience every time you see them, because of course it's a new show every time, but especially with True, they're like opening up different parts of their heart and their lives that they weren't necessarily expecting to talk about or thinking that they would share. But then this word, which might be like pudding or chocolate cake, will like make
Yeah,
you think of cheesecake and make you think of juniors and make you think of this other thing, you know, and it
yeah,
like
yeah,
it opens up all these really cool stories. So I
yeah,
love that. And
yeah.
I also want to give a shout out. I don't know their full name, but JSWH saying "Ta rules."
That's my little brother. And my sister-in-law, and I love them, Joe and Jess, and they're so amazingly supportive, and they're just amazing human beings. And I can't wait till I can actually hug them. I don't know, I always have a hang up when people say like blessed or whatever. I was blessed that Joe was my brother, and then when he married Jessica, so,
Wow.
so wonderful people, like best little brother you could ever have, and I have 2 amazing sister-in-laws, and
Wow.
yeah,
It's amazing. That's so lovely to hear. It's always really nice when you hear positive stories like that.
they're like I when I talk to Joe, I'm instantly brought back to like that little kid, like we're little kids again, and we're watching WWF, or we're like complaining about something our older brother did or whatever or something, and I love them all too, and so
Yes, that's amazing. So before we wrap up, because I see we have been chatting for an hour, which is amazing. It's so easy to flow with you. Where can the good people find you on social media, and any last words that maybe you want to promote something or just share with the world?
Yeah, they on Instagram I'm at Hank 121210, and my Etsy store, Love One Another 1376. That's where you could find the stickers, where the sales will go to colorofchange.org. I also have another Etsy store, Hengaroo Goods, HENGAROO Goods, and that just has office-based merchandise because I love the office. So that those are just like fun, silly cards and stickers. And you could check out some more of my work at tanderson.dunk.com.
Yay, excellent. And I highly recommend y'all do check that out because you are fabulous.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You are fabulous. Thank you so much for having me. This went really fast. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, I'm so glad you enjoyed it. And thank y'all for watching. You can find me at bwaySHO. That's bwaySHO. If you like this, feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Then you'll see the whole series. And I have a Patreon, so you can become a Showtreon by going to patreon.com/bwaySHO. Yes. Thank y'all so much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you at the show.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.